Looking for the most spectacular Porter Ranch home for sale? Today's Porter Ranch home tour takes you inside the crown jewel of Porter Ranch, a breathtaking new construction home in the prestigious Northridge View Estates. This brand new estate offers over 4,300 square feet of curated luxury, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, panoramic city and mountain views, and a resort-style backyard with a pool, spa, and an outdoor kitchen. From the dramatic spiral staircase, the double-gated entrance, to the chef's dream kitchen with a hidden prep space and a spa-inspired primary suite, this residence sets a new bar for luxury living in Los Angeles. But more importantly, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to explain why this home might actually be a better deal than buying directly from one of the traditional builders in Porter Ranch. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group. Man, am I excited to bring to you today this Porter Ranch home tour. This might be the most spectacular home that's ever hit the market in all of Porter Ranch. And especially we can consider that if you're looking at new construction, this might be a better option for you. Stay tuned to the end of the video for that. All right, so this home behind me, again, brand new construction, and this is in the Northridge View Estate. So we're in Porter Ranch, California. We're located about 30 miles north of downtown Los Angeles, off the 118 freeway. We're located north of Rinaldi Street, and you would get off at the 118 exit at Reseda Boulevard. Now, these homes were built in the 1980s, sold several of them before, and this doesn't look anything like the 1980s, I promise you for that. So we're gonna get into all the details, everything that they did in this home. I promise you, you're going to be amazed at what this home looks like on the interior, and especially the backyard. So let's turn around and start this home tour. So on the exterior, right, as we walk up to this palace is what I would call it, you have this large concrete pieces intertwined with the artificial grass. Of course, you're going to have your water feature over there to your left, and you have plenty of parking inside your gated entry, right? And you have your 2-car garage, which we'll show you later in this video. So all this parking, ample space right here, and just look at the design from the outside. You have these custom windows, again, your water feature, you have this designer lighting, right? Just perfect. And then you have that limestone facing over here, as well as your smooth stucco finish. And then over to your right over here, this is where you can really grasp how beautiful this home is just by looking at your double iron doors from the exterior. Look at all that glass right here from the outside. Let me invite you in. Look at all this glass. Look at the size of these double doors. Pure luxury. Come on in. I can't wait to show you everything the interior has to offer. Let's come inside. When you enter this magnificent home, the first thing you're going to notice is all the glass, as well as these soaring ceilings right here. And look, everybody who buys new construction, that's the first thing they ask about. The first thing they look for are those really tall ceilings when you enter into this grand foyer. And then you have this really nice sitting area, and take a notice of the attention to detail. You have your LED lights, right, going underneath the staircase. We're gonna show you more in detail of this spiral staircase later in this video. So now we're gonna back up to where the double door entry is, and we're gonna make our way into this downstairs space. So remember, this home, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, 4,300 square feet of living space. Over to your left, this is going to be your formal living room. Take a look at the ceiling. So these are coffered ceilings with your LED lights, right? So many times you'll have this coffered look, right? But it a lot of times has that 1980s, 1990s look. So you have this modern touch with the LED lights and the ambient lighting inside them also. Now, of course, this is where you're going to be able to stick your big screen TV. And like so many times that you see on new construction, you're going to have that modern gas fireplace, which everybody loves. And then you have your stone facing wall. Now, this is a wood flooring that we're walking on right now. And then because you have that light beige color, so the gray gives it a really nice contrast. Now, a lot of times in new construction, right, they'll show you an accent wall or two, but you end up being delivered everything with just white paint and drywall. That's it. You can't get any designer finishes. Well, here they have that, right? Because I think especially in the luxury homes, what people and buyers are really looking for these days, they really like to have a little bit of differentiation when it comes to color. So here on your built-ins, you have this green coloring, and again, it works because of how lightly colored the floors are. And then take a look right here on your built-in shelving, right there on the back, that is a darker color. So it's a darker brown to be able to have a little more of that contrast. And there's a little bit of brown on this stone facing of the fireplace itself. In addition to that, you're also gonna have these stackable doors that lead you to the backyard, and I cannot wait to be able to show you that later in this video. So now you can take a look all the way down. Now, first of all, take a look at all of the LED lights up on the ceiling above. Let's start with the formal dining area space right here of this large great room downstairs. Now, to your left, again, you're gonna have your stackable doors that will be able to lead you to your backyard. But while you're enjoying, right, this formal dining area space, you're gonna have this incredible wine room, right? Now, a lot of times you hear about a wine room or a wine closet. It's not very big, but you have your glass door that leads you into it. Now, you have the limestone backing over there, but plenty of room to be able to store all of your valued wine bottles. And it's great because it's right next to your formal dining table, right? So you just go inside there, pick out the bottle of wine of choice, to pair it with whatever food you're eating, and voila, right? You'll be able to impress all of your guests. Speaking of impressing all of your guests, take a look at this kitchen. Now, this kitchen has it all. There's a lot of things I want to be able to show you here in this kitchen. Now, first, you have the waterfall edge island, right? That's what everybody wants. That's really what everybody asks for these days when it comes to new construction. That's number one. Number two, typically you can sit 2, 3, maybe 4 seats or bar stools at the island, but here they're able to make this available for 5 different seats or bar stools, whatever you decide to keep. Now, I really like the light fixture here. This typically isn't available if you were to buy new construction. Let's just say from Toll Brothers, for example, it would be something that you would not be an option for you when it comes to buying new construction, right? So this is a huge, right, island to be able to entertain your friends and get all of your food ready, right, for whatever event you might be hosting. But the light fixture really becomes the focal point of the kitchen. Now, obviously, all this cabinetry is custom, right? You're gonna have your soft pull-out drawers, you have your stainless steel microwave built in, and then right over here, you have another entrance into your backyard. You have your double Thermador oven as well. All right, this is what I've been waiting to show you guys. I got 2 things. Come over here. So, push this open. Come on over here. Here is your refrigerator. And this is the luxurious modern refrigerator, right, where it kind of just blends in seamlessly into your kitchen, as if it's not even there, right? So you got freezer, and in addition to that, got your refrigerator over here. Again, Thermador. And then if you needed even more space to be able to hold your wine, maybe it's a white wine, maybe it's something that needs to be chilled, well, check this out right here. you got your built-in wine refrigerator. Now this is not the little one that you can kind of insert or build into a kitchen cabinet. This is custom right here to be specifically made for this kitchen. What do you think about all that? Well, there's a lot more still in this kitchen. Let's turn around and let me show you the rest. Now, I want you to notice, take a look at the colors here, right? You know, it's nothing too gaudy for sure, because again, you have that light brown flooring on the bottom, and then you have the darker cabinetry, right? But not too dark. And then the countertop itself, look at the size of this countertop. It's not that HD supply, obviously it wouldn't be in this price point, right? And just take a look at this, how beautiful this is, right? So again, you have a little bit of contrast between the flooring, the cabinetry, and the countertop itself. Now they elected to take the same countertop and utilize that as the backsplash. So over to your left here, you're gonna have your stainless steel sink basin. One thing that I always really like to point out is if you take a look here, that especially if you're getting a stainless steel sink, get the grate for the sink to protect the bottom of the sink from scratches. All right, so here is your dishwasher. Again, just like the refrigerator, it's built in to the cabinetry. And so again, it pretty much looks like it's not even there. Now, as we turn around once again, you're gonna see here, they have a convection Thermador cooktop right here. So it's all electric right here. I like the fact that you have the pot filler because the sink is right behind you. And this way you don't have to be going back and forth, not as if it's a very long distance, but when you're cooking, you don't want to have to be interchanging from one side of the kitchen to the other. All right, there's still more, right? I mean, this is a pretty cool kitchen. Let me know what you think of it so far. All right, let's pan here from right to left so you can get a much better idea about the totality of the space. Now, what I'm gonna show you next is gonna feel like the Bat Cave, to be honest, because it's very unassuming and you would never know it's there unless you actually knew about it in the first place. Because what happens a lot of times is, especially if you have an island like this and you're entertaining friends and family, maybe you have a charcuterie board, you know, other cheese plates, other dishes, right? And that takes up a majority of your island right there on top. So maybe you need extra space to be able to prep everything for your event or party. And that, my friends, is where all this comes in. So we're gonna enter through here. Again, it blends in, right? As if you never even knew it was here. And then you have this whole extra prep kitchen, right? So you have another freestanding range, another stainless steel sink, dishwasher. In addition, you actually even have a stainless steel fridge. And this is in addition also to the refrigerator in the kitchen itself. How cool is this? I mean, you have all this cabinetry, a pantry, and this is where all the magic's gonna happen for your big event. Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group, your LA trusted real estate agent. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this glorious house so far. All right, so if you're looking to buy a home here in the greater Los Angeles area, whether it be a $500,000 condo, right? Or it's a $5 million property and everything in between, we're always here to help and give a lot of advice. A lot of you have reached out to me with different questions. Maybe you're not ready to buy right now, maybe you're not ready to sell, but you have a lot of questions, and like everything else that you find on the internet, there's a lot of information, but it's really hard to be able to decipher it, right? So maybe it makes sense in your situation to buy right now. Maybe it doesn't. There's many people that we've told like, hey, you know what, let's put together a plan in place because maybe you may be looking to buy in 1 or 2 years, right? The situation for yourself is going to be different than everybody else. And so everybody's circumstances are going to be different. And as a result of that, like we like to formulate and craft a plan for each individual and what you're looking for, right? So you need an agent right now that really has an idea of what's truly happening in the marketplace, because we're seeing a lot of offers on a lot of our listings right now, and we're also seeing a lot of properties here in Southern California, depending on the neighborhood where they're sitting. They're not priced right? The seller's not being realistic. So I think you need an agent who can really give you a good idea of what's truly happening, because one neighborhood in Glendale right now can be extremely hot, but then you go into East LA and different pockets there, homes are city. So I think you just really need to have an agent in your corner who understands the nuances of different neighborhoods and how to structure your offer, so that way you can get your offer accepted, especially if it's the house that you don't want to miss out on. All right, let's get back to the home tour. Okay, so I'm going to show you, before we get into the garage, this mudroom area. Right? How great is this? Especially during the winter months, right? My kids are always dragging who knows what into the house. This is why we always make them take off their shoes before they enter into the home. So you have a nice place to, you can hang up backpacks for school, your coats, and then, they take off their shoes right here so they don't get the rest of the house dirty. Now, if you have pets, that's a whole different story altogether. In addition to that, you have storage underneath this sitting bench as well. So I like how they're able to interconnect all of this together. And this is a pretty decent size space. So next, let's go take a look at the garage. You're going to walk down a few steps, and the flooring is going to have this custom epoxy finish. And a lot of times I go into homes and they've done the epoxy finish, but it just has that cheap appearance to it. This is a higher end finish, and for most garages, that kind of averages between $3,500 to $5,000. Now, clearly, this is a top end finish for this garage, number one. Number two, look at all the LED lighting up on top. Tons of lighting in your garage, so you don't have that dingy feeling when you go into the garage itself. And then the high ceilings here in this garage. Now, I suppose if you wanted to add some storage, you definitely could in here, but if it were up to me, I would add custom cabinetry along the walls. And there's some different nooks in here also. So it wouldn't take away if you wanted to park your vehicles inside the garage, because you still have space for two large vehicles and storage. Plus, there's a sub panel here in this garage, along with a 220 outlet for your car charger. Okay, now we're back inside the main house after leaving the garage, and that brings us to the half bathroom. Remember, there are 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. Your half bathroom downstairs, right off your kitchen, close to your formal dining area. Now take a look at the customization in this bathroom. Now, of course, right here, you have your quartz floating vanity. There's no cabinetry in here, but I like how they're able to have the color here. Once again, because the color of the designer tile, right, is offset by having the color in that floating vanity with your gold colored handles and a faucet. Custom mirror, and then look at the wall itself over here, right? Almost has like that Spanish aesthetic to it, right? Because you obviously on the sides, you just have your regular drywall, but here, to give it a lot of character and oomph, so to speak, right? Look how it is, just like you have that thick stucco feel right here. We're gonna make our way over to the downstairs bedroom. There are 4 bedrooms total, and each bedroom in this home has its own private bath. I cannot wait to show you the primary suite when we go upstairs. Now, as you see, we're going back through the large great room. You see the large iron doors, and then right over here to your right is going to be this first bedroom that we're going to look at. So they have it currently staged as an office, but it's a great space. Maybe you want to use it as a den, a play area for kids. Take a look at the beautiful ceiling. Again, all of the LED lighting here, which complements all of the natural lighting that comes into this home. You have the large bay window on the west side of this room. So you're going to have your own walk-in closet right here over to the right side of this room. And this is a pretty good space too. In addition to that, look at all the custom built-ins. I'm gonna come back to that point later in the video. It's all about the customization, and they really thought of all the details in this home. And then of course, you're going to have, like we said before, your own private bathroom. So this one has the vanity, the custom light fixture, and your shower enclosure with the designer tile, hand sprayer, and rain shower head. So I'm gonna talk to you right now when it comes to attention to detail. Take a look at this wall in front of you. So it's a textured wall, right? It may look like wallpaper, but it's actually a textured wall. And this is brilliant. And it actually wraps around to the other side where the wine room is. And as opposed to the opposite side where the stackable doors are, that's just drywall and paint. But look what they did here. Come underneath here, look, that is the same texture, right, as you see underneath this spiral staircase. And yet they didn't continue it here on this wall that's actually directly below the spiral staircase, right, to be able to give some contrast. And then yet they were able to put, like we showed you in the beginning, all those LED lights in too. So you have all that customization, right, of just really being able to bring out the character of this home. Now, speaking of character, take a look at this modern looking spiral staircase. Now, these homes here in this neighborhood, right, this one's been built basically from the ground up, but the homes in this neighborhood typically built in the 1980s, and it has that 1980s feel when it comes to spiral staircase. You even have the ambient lighting underneath all of the steps as well. All right, let's make our way upstairs right now. As we do that, let's talk about schools. So most people, I can say a lot of them are moving into this neighborhood due to the schools. So your schools are going to be Castle Bay Lane Elementary, constantly rated as a 10 out of 10 by greatschools.org, as well as Robert Frost Elementary, always usually rated 10 out of 10, and then you fall into the boundaries for Granada Hills Charter High School. Once again, I wanted to showcase the beautiful light fixture that you have hanging from your foyer. Look at all these windows. These aren't mill guard windows, and don't get me wrong, mill guard windows are nice. These are all custom designed windows for this space. Again, goes back to the intricacy that the homeowner thought about this home. Now, off this landing area, you can see this little table right in front of you. You could easily put a desk right here. So this might be a great area for, your kids, if you have any, to have a nice little homework area. But if you didn't need a large area for an office, you can put a small little table right there. And to your right is going to be your laundry room. Now, since you have 3 of your 4 bedrooms upstairs, it does make sense that you would have your laundry room up here. It includes your Samsung washer and dryer. Look how the washer and dryer are housed, right? They're next to each other, but they have this custom framing that allows the washer and dryer to be housed individually, right, and separately, but yet they're right next to each other. Now, of course, you have the cabinetry right here. Most of the time in new construction, that is a designer upgrade. So here, it's all included for you. So this is really nice to be able to have all this cabinetry included with your washer and dryer in your laundry room upstairs. So we're gonna go over to our right. We're gonna take a look at the first bedroom that we're going to see on the second level. Again, there's a total of 3 bedrooms on your second story. Now, as we told you downstairs, that each bedroom has its own private bathroom, and that's no different here. One thing I really like about this bedroom is that in addition to having your walk-in closet with all the custom built-ins, and this is a pretty good size walk-in closet for an auxiliary bedroom. In addition to that, you have over here going to have more built-ins, more drawers and closet space. And what's fantastic about that, in my opinion, is that you're not losing space in the room to furniture because all this is already built in for you. Let's go take a look at the private bathroom of this bedroom. So you have the ambient lighting on the flooring of all places underneath the vanity. And then again, you have that custom designer tile and then your own shower enclosure, including the gold colored hand sprayer and rain shower head. And you even have the ambient lighting where you would store all of your shampoo as well. All right, so let's go over to our right. Now, you do have access to this amazing, right here, balcony with these city and panoramic and mountain views. We're gonna show you that as we're gonna enter it once we get to the primary suite. I'm gonna show you the last bedroom before the primary suite, and then you're gonna be amazed, I promise you, by the primary suite itself. Okay, so this is bedroom number 3. This is a pretty good size bedroom. You have the bay windows over to your left, have that nice sitting area, and just like they have it staged here, plenty of room for a couch if you would like. If it was me where that picture is right now, I probably have my big screen TV on that wall, right? Now over to your right, I like what they did here. You don't have a walk-in closet, but look at all the built-ins that you have at your disposal, all the way from ceiling to the floor. And then to give that really nice modern touch and aesthetic, you have the glass doors right there to be able to keep whatever you may want. Maybe it's shoes, probably not socks and underwear, but really a ton of closet space. And again, that's not your primary bedroom, which we're gonna show you momentarily. And then this bathroom does have the full shower and tub. And then as you walk in, the ambient lighting automatically turns on, your rain head shower head, your hand sprayer with the designer tile. Now, because the shower enclosure is white, it's perfect that you don't need a lot of color for the tile itself, especially when you consider that it's just a slight bit of contrast on the cabinetry of the vanity itself. So another floating vanity, this one has the cabinetry, and you have your white quartz countertop with the gray veins. Okay, so you may have caught this in some of the other bedrooms and some of the rooms downstairs also. These are the vents for the central AC. So most people are used to the vents that you see that kind of have that 1960s through 1990s look, but the real modern houses, these are the vents that they utilize for your central AC and heating system. All right, this is what you've been waiting for. We're gonna leave this bedroom. Now we are going to enter into the spectacular primary suite. So, a lot to see here. The first is the view itself when you actually look to your right. Of course, all that morning light's going to be coming in from the southeast direction, right? And you have access through those stackable doors, which we're going to go out momentarily. Now, this is a large room, easily can fit a California king, no problem, and still have plenty of space as well. Once again, take a look at the ceiling design. You may have missed it also downstairs that you have your surround system too. So you have this incredible surround system throughout the entire house also. All right, so this is where the TV is gonna go in this room right here above your fireplace, and you have this custom gas fireplace right here for those chilly evenings in the winter. But again, it's all about the views, right, that you're surrounded by in this primary suite. Because how many times have you seen it where you have a house that has the most spectacular views, yet the primary bedroom isn't the one that has the best views? It's your third or fourth bedroom. So here, definitely not the case. All right, let's head over to this walk-in closet as attached to your primary bedroom. There are built-ins and then there are built-ins. First, just check out the lighting here throughout. Now you have the wood accent as well, but you know, when you buy new construction, a majority of, even if the houses are 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, majority of them don't have walk-in closets of this size. And so they have the ambient lighting underneath again, the actual section in the middle where you can put all your valuables. And take a look right there, like that space in the middle. You can put all your watches, right? There are timepieces in that center section, and the space that you have right here to be able to hang everything up and organize all your personal clothing as well as valuables, and the cost to be able to actually do this yourself. And this is something we're gonna get into towards the end of this video. If you're gonna have a walk-in closet of this size, you need a full-length mirror. Whew. Good thing I did my hair today. Come on, let's go show you the primary bathroom. Okay, this primary bathroom has it all. First, you have your floating vanity with dual sinks, right? You have your designer tile. Look at the size of the pieces of tile on this floor. Now it's a very, I would say, like a off-white gray with a little bit of brown all combined. Then you have the darker cabinetry on your vanity, and then right on top of that, you're going to have the quartz. And look at the size of the pieces of quartz. This isn't something that you're gonna find at HD Supply. So this is all customized for this room, as well are the mirrors and the lighting as well. Now here's something that you don't see every day, and in my opinion really kind of gives you that spa-like vibe, because this is probably where you're going to put a majority of your towels, and you roll them up just like you're going to the spa. Grab one right here, and then next thing you know, you're in your soaking tub. So this is a beautiful soaking tub with the gorgeous mountain views, and take a gander at that light fixture above, really giving off that spa-like vibe. Now, as for the shower enclosure itself, this, if you were asked 95% of the people of how they wanted their shower enclosure to be built, most people would tell you it would be like this, because you have different showers at either end of the shower enclosure itself. Of course, you have the oversized hand sprayer that's gold colored, right? And all the controls are gold colored. You have your rain head shower head as well on each side. And then the ambient lighting where you would keep your soap and shampoo, right? And of course, you can see the custom windows in here with the LED lighting above. And just because of the space itself, you have a sitting bench that literally goes all the way across, right? Usually a lot of times you'll just see it on one side, but this is how they really thought of everything, because the sitting bench literally goes from left to right. So, you know, you could easily fit a family of 6 or 7 in here, no problem whatsoever. So let me know what you think of this primary bathroom. All right, come on outside, open up this sliding door to this. Look at this view. I mean, today's a hazy, cloudy day, so you can't really appreciate everything it has to offer on a day like today. But, you know, on a clear day, you can see miles and miles away right here. So obviously you got great views of the canyon, those city light views, right? And just a great space to kind of really entertain friends and family upstairs as well. And then you can overlook right here this custom pool, that PebbleTech pool, and you get a nice view of your outdoor kitchen, and you can see everything right here from up top. You got the Santa Susana Mountains to your left, to the north, and then over to your right, you got those city light views. And there's a wonderful space right here. You can easily put, you know, some couches up here, and there's some really neat things that you can do. And take a look at the designer lighting that they have out here as well. If there's one upgrade that a lot of our buyers, when it comes to new construction, that they probably request the most, are these stackable doors. So let's open these up and show you the backyard. And depending on the builder, the size, and how big this space is, you could easily be looking at $80,000 to $120,000 just in this one upgrade alone. Let's step outside. All right, so again, you have your large concrete pavers interconnected with the artificial grass. Now, to your right, you're going to have this swimming pool as well as spa, PebbleTech, you have the custom pool decking, you have the sitting area in the corner, and here it's all about being able to enjoy the views, right? So this is a wonderful space. And then what most people do these days, gone are from the 1950s and 1960s, where you have the pool where you can really essentially practice scuba diving because they're so deep. Here, people like the smaller pools, and it's great, especially during the summer months, right? It makes a lot more sense because then you don't have to worry about heating the pool, and the pool is able to retain a lot more heat. Now take a look at this structure over here, right? You always see these trellises a lot of times in the backyard, but this has that whole modern touch, and it's really a continuation of the rest of the house. And you can access this right here from your kitchen. So this is a really nice feature as well. All right, now we're gonna go over to our left. We're gonna pass by the pool again, as well as the spa, and let's head over to the outdoor kitchen. So this is a massive outdoor kitchen. If you've ever priced out how much it is to build an outdoor kitchen, then you know how incredible it would be to have an outdoor kitchen like this. So of course you got your gas grill, you got your stainless steel sink, right? You have everything that you could possibly ask for. And a lot of times, right, in these barbecue islands, peninsulas, right, a lot of times, you know, you got seating for 3 or 4, but you easily got seating here for 8 or 9 people, hands down, right? So you're gonna be having the focal point of the backyard. It may not necessarily be the pool, right? It's probably gonna be your outdoor kitchen. And you know, because of the weather that we have here in Southern California, it really is kind of that extension of your indoor-outdoor living space that we always talk so much about, because you could be out here grilling pretty much year-round. So let me know what you think of this backyard and specifically this outdoor kitchen. Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group. So what did you think of this house, right? 4,300 square feet of living space, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and pretty much they thought of about every detail you could possibly imagine. So this is spectacular. So in the beginning of the video, I told you that this might be a better buy than actually buying new construction. And I think there's a bunch of reasons why, right? And there's a few builders out there right now here, just in the San Fernando Valley, that have new construction at 2.3, 2.2, 2.7, right, for starting. That's your base. That's before you even add in a lot premium, which can add another $100,000 to $300,000 to your base price. And then of course, right, you got your structural upgrades, and that's where a lot of times people spend a majority of their money, right? That's about $300,000, I'd say, on average for something of this size. So now you got $300,000 just into your structural upgrades, and then you got your designer upgrades. Because what happens a lot of times in new construction, people will buy it with just the basic tile flooring, whatever it comes with from the builder, and then they'll have their contractor come in and they'll easily spend another $200,000 to $500,000 on the home, right? And that doesn't even include the front or the back landscaping, as you know, really just comes to you as a dirt lot. And we've seen clients that have spent anywhere from $300,000 to $800,000 just on the backyard alone. So it's conceivable that you could easily be spending another $1 million or $1.5 million, right? And if you're starting from the 2.7 base, you know, price point, yeah, okay, maybe you get your lots a little bigger, right? But you're not necessarily guaranteed views like this. So it's gonna make a lot more sense. That's number one. Number two, you don't have to wait 6 months to a year for your property to be actually delivered. You can move right into this community. Now, yes, it is true that all the homes in the Northridge View Estates typically built in the 1980s, right? But you know, the way it's designed, especially from the outside, it feels like a castle, but it's not super over the top design that's like, oh wow, like this house really stands out. And you can see, again, this has a very luxurious feel, and there's really nothing else like it here, especially in the North San Fernando Valley. I would say that I think most of our clients, if they had the option of this or brand new construction, yes, you have the opportunity to customize your home. This is gonna work for most people. You know, you got the soaring ceilings, you got all the upgrades, you got the ambient lighting, like just small things things, right, that don't necessarily come available to you, right, if you're buying from a builder such as, Toll Brothers or Pulte Homes or any of the builders out here in Southern California. So I think that if you're looking at new construction, this might be a viable alternative when you have to think about what you're going to have to spend to bring it up to this type of level. I think that's what you have to look at, right? So I think that's something that I think a lot of people are probably going to like, especially about this home. What did you think? Well, if you have any questions about new construction or resale homes here in the greater Los Angeles area, feel free to reach out to me, even if you just have questions. People like yourself are reaching out to me all the time just to have their questions answered, right? And we've been helping a lot of people like yourself move here to the greater Los Angeles area from all over the country. And it's been such an honor and a pleasure to be able to talk to all of you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group. Hope you enjoyed this home tour, and we'll see you on the next one.